The home buyer sentiment index plummets off a cliff. Hi, this is Douglas Lucky Larson on the Retire Early and Often channel, where we try to help you become financially free and steer clear of the noise and irresponsible clickbait that keeps you down. The hype that gets your attention but won't help you actually make accurate decisions about your future. This week, I saw several articles talking about the Fannie Mae Home Purchaser Sentiment Index falling to the lowest level ever. And on closer inspection, I realized how stupid these articles are and really how dumb this chart is. Let's take a look at this headline and story and then the chart, and then we'll talk about it. First of all, there has never been a worse time to buy a new home, the survey reveals. Like this incredible truth was just waiting to be discovered by somebody so noble and brave. Yes, thank you, J.C. Navarrete. Yeah, bad news story. Anyway, as we go down, it talks just a little bit about this analysis, and the sentiment index decreased to 71.8 points in January, lowest level since May of 2020, and really the lowest ever that they have on record for this chart. Yeah, well, let's take a closer look at the actual chart. And just so you know, Fannie Mae is a government-sponsored enterprise or entity that makes mortgages available to low and moderate-income borrowers. It does not really provide the loans, but it backs and guarantees them in the secondary mortgage market. If you want more information, Wikipedia, Google it, you'll find it. Freddie Mac is similar, and they all have their own data that they track and everything. They were in the news all the time in 2007, 8, and 9 during the last crash. Okay, so the Fannie Mae Home Purchaser Sentiment Index, it only started measuring back here in January of 2012. What good does that do? The crash was 2007 through the end of 2009, so we don't even have that data on their dumb chart. Some areas of the country didn't even bottom out with home prices until mid-2011 or 12. And if your index doesn't include sentiment in the early 2000s or even before that, it's nonsense. For a real comparison, we'll see on the next chart, I went back way further, but I could only find consumer sentiment. That's overall consumer buying sentiment. And it's back into the 70s, and we'll take a look at that. And really, more accurately, consumers, they're simply influenced by the media and whatever sentiment they are spoon-fed. So let's look here at a couple of these charts and graphs. Consumer sentiment has been at all-time highs, generally speaking, just before the stock market and housing market has crashed. Several times, consumer sentiment was very low when it was actually like the very best time to buy assets, especially real estate. If for some reason that you choose to follow the sentiment, well, you would likely buy just before crashes and then want to sell or not purchase just before the best times for asset appreciation. Let's really look close at these graphs and we can see a couple of these things. So the top chart is, this is consumer sentiment, and if you see up here at the top, and you can find all these yourself, the FRED, the University of Michigan, and here's the actual site right here. Okay, so the gray bars right here and right here, all of these indicate recessions. And I tried to line this up as best I could for dates. You go back from just before 1980 on both of these, and then all the way through where we are here, and we're in 2022. This goes through basically the end of 2021. So let's look at the consumer price index, consumer sentiment index on the top, and let's see what consumers thought about back when way back here, we've got some low points down here. And you can understand why it was low. 80s, we had inflation, all kinds of crazy stuff going on. Interest rates were spiking. And consumers thought this was a terrible time to buy stuff in general. But guess what? If you listen to the sentiment, let's look down on the lower chart right here, you might have missed right here all the way up to here, where home prices went up from what would that have been, about 100,000 up to about 150 grand. Sentiment finally catches up in here, and it's like, oh yeah, things are great. And if you were listening to sentiment right about here and you finally jumped in, well, guess what? We had a recession. You can see down here on the bottom. Then if you were listening to sentiment way down here, oh, everything's terrible, life sucks, the world is about to collapse, then guess what? You would have missed out on this home price rally. We're not even looking at stocks. This is home prices, right? And these are not adjusted for inflation. But again, one of the reasons why you buy real estate is to collect rents, no matter what inflation is, because you can bring your prices up. But it's to hedge against inflation. So let's just look at nominal prices. They went up. So if you bought in here, you can see down here, this is about 140K. And then before this next recession right here, this is about $210,000. You'd have missed out on that nice run if you listened to the sentiment that was right up here. Again, you see a similar kind of thing. Sentiment is at its peak, at its highest, just before a recession, a crash. And then again, everybody's kind of negative, nilly. And if you listen to these people down in here, you're going to miss this run. Again, if you jump on the bandwagon too late because sentiment is high and you're like, yahoo! Well, guess what? Bam, you dropped into the crash of 2007 through 2009, 10, 11. Again, if you're listening to sentiment way down in here, oh, everything sucks, it's a terrible time to buy, well, guess what? Then you missed this bull run in home prices. And again, wow, what a giant drop here. COVID, all the lockdowns, government interventions, usually for the worse, and consumer sentiment dropped. But guess what? There was your bull run again. So what do we see? This is why many investors say that the best time to buy is when there is literally blood running in the streets. Actually, a better strategy has always been not to try to time the market, but simply to have time in the market. And by the way, I can't take credit for that statement. That's been around for a long time and proven true. Another YouTube friend of mine says it this way. He says, I tell people not to wait to buy real estate, but to buy real estate and wait. And by the way, you really like his channel. It's called The Retire Mentality. So look that one up. Now, I'm just some guy on the internet providing infotainment and not advice. But I've purchased 2 duplexes in the last year. And I am constantly making offers because, as they say, if you make 0 offers, you get 0 deals. So, if you're looking for some possibly actionable infotainment, well, here it is. Just be careful when you're watching the headlines. They could be very misleading. Partial data isn't going to help you, especially in an environment when sensationalism and clickbait taglines are meant only to get your eyeballs, but not necessarily provide useful knowledge. Again, I can't give you advice, but if you're going to watch consumer sentiment, maybe the best thing to do is wait till it's at an all-time high and then sell, or wait till it's an all-time low and then get ready to buy assets. The statistics show us that that is probably the better course of action than just following the herd. Please like, subscribe, and share this video and this channel. It really does help. We appreciate it and hope to see you on the next video.